How's it going, guys? It's Jackson with We Major Anime, and today we're going to be ranking and explaining the Hashira. So in Demon Slayer, there's a lot of interesting characters, but there is no group more interesting than the Hashira. So the way that we're going to be doing this today is we're going to be explaining them in order of alphabetical order, so we don't give away our rankings, and then we're going to sit down with some friends and discuss them. First on the list is Mitsuri Kanroji, the Love Hashira. She trained under the former Flame Hashira Shinjiro Rengoku, and is really known for her brute strength and power. She originally trained to be a flame breather, however she wasn't really adept for it, so she adapted her own thing called love breathing. She is physically the second strongest in brute strength of all the Hashira and is said to have the strength of 3 sumo wrestlers combined, which also means she has to eat as much as 3 sumo wrestlers combined on a daily basis. Her Nichiren sword is in the shape of a whip, so it helps her speed a lot because she's also one of the slowest. So with the whip ability, she's able to maneuver her sword around a lot and able to hit significant strikes that aren't as easily dodged. Up next is Shinobu Kocho, who's the current insect Hashira who joined with her sister Kanei, who is the flower Hashira. However, she was killed by Doma, the Upper Moon 2, before the main timeline began. Although she's physically the weakest of all Hashira, so weak that she can't even decapitate a demon, she is by far the fastest. Because she can't decapitate a demon, she altered her sword so that she could stab them instead and enters them with wisteria poison, which all demons are susceptible to. This can even take out upper rank demons because her poison is so strong. On top of her super speed and her extreme thrusting force, she is a medical genius. Next is Gyome Himejima, the Stone Hashira. He was born blind and he was attacked by a demon as a child, and he killed the demon with his bare hands, which is something we've never seen anyone in the entire show or manga do before. He created stone breathing on his own, and he is also the biggest Hashira at 7'2" and almost 300 pounds, making him an absolute tank of a human being. It took him 2 months of training and entering the final selection exam to become a Hashira, which is one of the fastest we've ever seen among any Hashira ever. Instead of a sword, he uses an axe and flail, which he can use to extend his reach, and which he can smack together to turn bright red, making one of his swords the strongest of all time. Obanai Igro is the Serpent Hashira, and he was born with endochromatic eyes, which means he has 2 different colored eyes, and he is almost completely blind in one eye. He was born into a clan that was predominated by women who would sacrifice children to a demon for money. The woman in his clan also cut his mouth all the way out to his ears, giving him a bit of a Joker treatment to make him look like a snake. He created serpent breathing, which is a very niche technique in the Demon Slayer world. He's the only person who can use it. However, he can't use it without his snake Kabura Maru, who does all of his seeing and hearing for him, and telepathically connects with Obanai during fights, making him almost able to see transparent world. He has a Demon Slayer mark, which makes him able to upgrade his speed and strength significantly and makes him even able to cut limbs off Muzan, the king of all the demons. And he was so strong that just by gripping his sword harder, he could turn it bright red just like Gyome. Next on our list is Kyojuro Rengoku, who is probably by far a fan favorite. He's the current Flame Hashira and the son of the former Flamer Hashira, Shinjiro Rengoku. He was gonna train under his father until his mother died of an illness, throwing his father, making him despise Rengoku and not want to teach him anything. Instead of learning from his father, he studied the 3 books of flame breathing in order to get as strong as he did, and he ended up becoming the Flame Hashira pretty damn fast. He was almost able to defeat Upper Moon 3 Akaza, however, he wasn't able to get his sword all the way through. He used the final form of the flame breathing, the 9th form, Rengoku, set your heart ablaze, sped at him at the speed of light, and tried to cut his head off, but was ultimately unsuccessful. And spoiler here, he ended up succumbing to his wounds against Akaza and passed away at the end of the Mugen Train arc. This brings us along to our next entry on the list, the Wind Hashira, Sanemi Shinazugawa. He's arguably the meanest and most arrogant member of the Hashira. Even when Nezuko was brought to the Hashira meeting, he took her and stabbed her, as we all know, and when he was young, he lost all of his family aside from his younger brother Genya, who completed the final selection exam alongside Tanjiro and Zenitsu. Before he became a Hashira, he also took out Lower Moon 1, and this is what got him promoted into being a Hashira. He was also able to stand toe-to-toe with Kokushibo, the Upper Moon 1, a former Demon Slayer and brother of the founding of Demon Slayers, for a long time, and Kokushibo stated that Sanemi had the most perfect body he could possibly have. having it so perfect that he was able to just flex and seal his wounds. He's able to turn his sword bright red by clashing it against Gyu's, and he has also unlocked his Demon Slayer mark, which significantly increases speed and strength. Muichiro Tokuto is the youngest of all Hashira as the Mist Hashira, and he's actually even younger than Tanjiro, Inosuke, and Zenitsu. He comes from an extremely talented bloodline, as even a direct descendant of Upper Moon 1 Kokushibo. He mastered mist breathing and became a Hashira in 2 months. And just keep in mind, it took Tanjiro 6 months to just cut the boulder to enter the final selection, let alone become a Hashira. He lost both of his parents at the age of 10 and even lost his twin brother to a demon a little bit after that. Just like Obanai, he can also turn his sword bright red by grip strength alone. And he has a Demon Slayer mark, so as you guys know, his powers increase significantly. He has access to Transparent World and can also stand one-on-one with Kokushibo and also help fight Muzan. Gyu Tomioka is the current Water Hashira, and personally probably my favorite of all the Hashira. He trained under Sakonji Urokodaki and alongside Sabito and Makomo, the ghost that Tanjiro saw when he was training under Urokodaki. During final selection exam, he was about to die to a demon, and Sabito jumped in and saved his life so that he could pass the final selection exam. Unfortunately, Sabito gave his life for this. This led Gyu to having an inferiority complex where he doesn't think he's a good demon slayer, never thought he passed the final selection exam, and does not think he deserves to be a Hashira. He invented a new breathing form of water breathing called Dead Calm, which allows him to basically isolate somebody and just take their head off in one calm, very foul swoop. When Tanjiro and Nezuko were fighting Lower Moon 5 Rui, Gyu was able to swoop in and take him out with ease. He is also able to turn his sword bright red by clashing it with Tsunemis and awoke his Demon Slayer mark during his fight with Akaza during the Infinity Castle arc. Lastly, we have Tengen Uzui, the Sound Hashira. He's a former shinobi from a dying clan whose parents trained him really hard in poison resistance and brute strength. Due to this harsh training, he lost 7 of his total 8 siblings. He's one of 9, just leaving him and his younger brother. He has mastery with kunai and explosives, being a former shinobi, which really helps his sound breathing, making all sorts of flashy sounds in order to distract from what he's really doing. He's the fastest runner of all the Hashira at 6'4", 210 pounds, making him also an absolute tank. And he has 2 swords connected by a chain, which makes him able to extend his blade out for a longer reach. He decapitated Upper Moon 6 Daki with ease so quickly that she didn't even notice at first that her head was missing until she caught it in her hand. He made her look so stupid that he didn't even believe that she was an Upper Moon. The strongest thing that he can use is his musical score, which is where he listens for sounds and patterns in the opponent's attack, making them easier to predict when he makes a song out of them. And to top it all off, he has 3 wives that are absolutely fine as fuck.